Hi, my name is Alexis Hernandez, and I'm the Virtual Content Specialist for Social Studies, grades K through 2 special ed. Today, I'm going to share with you a modification that's specifically designed for the Passport curriculum in social studies. This lesson is for grade 2, unit 2, day 11. Now, while the modification that I'm going to share with you today can be used in this specific lesson, and I'll model it in this specific lesson, it's actually a modification that you can use in a variety of different lessons across different subject areas. But for today's purposes, I'm going to share how I would use it with Unit 2, Day 11 for Grade 2. Now, the focus question and the theme of this lesson is having students focus on New York City as a cultural center. The questions that this lesson revolves around are: where are New York City parks and public spaces located, and what are some important cultural buildings or attractions in New York City? So the students in this lesson are asked to explore different resources like maps, the NYC website, visuals, and what they have to do is come up with an idea of why New York City is a cultural center, and then they have to discover some of the attractions that make New York City a cultural center. In their independent work, the students have to figure out why New York City is a cultural center, what attractions New York City has, and what attractions they might want to visit themselves. So in order to add an additional scaffold to this lesson for some of our struggling learners, I use the Insert Learning extension. I'm going to show you how to get the Insert Learning extension. All you have to do is go to insertlearning.com. What this extension is going to do is it's going to take a text or a web page, and it's going to allow you to add some instructional scaffolding to that web page. There's different features like highlighting, there's voice recording, you can add a sticky note or a reminder for your students, you can add a question so that they can track their comprehension as they're going through the web page, and all of these different features help provide more instruction to students when they are on this web page on their own. So all you have to do to download this extension is add it to Chrome. It'll download onto your computer, and then you'll be able to find your extensions right up in the right corner of your browser. Next to the little star, there's a puzzle piece that says extensions. And if you click on that, you'll see the Insert Learning extension will pop up. Once it's downloaded, it will be there for you in your computer. And you just click on the puzzle piece and Insert Learning to access it. So I'm on the Passport curriculum right now, and I'm on the Unit 2, Day 11 lesson plan. I'm going to scroll down to the independent work for this lesson. Here, this is where I would want to use my Insert Learning extension. The students during their independent work time are asked to go to the NYC website, explore it, and then answer some important questions. They have to answer what cultural attractions they might visit, maybe some of the places that they have visited already. And I want to help some of my struggling learners complete this assignment. So I'm going to click on the NYC website, just like how my students would. When I get to the website, this is what my students will see: the 5 boroughs of New York City. I want to help some of my struggling learners tackle this web page. I want them to be able to remember the important questions that they have to answer, and I want them to be able to comprehend and really independently grasp the content in this web page. So I'm going to click on the Insert Learning extension to add a little bit of a scaffold for them. Rather than have my students just go to this web page on their own and hope that they explore and find the accurate information, I think it's a really good idea to use the insert learning features to help guide and support them. So for example, the 5 boroughs of New York City. So what's a borough anyway? It's like a smaller city within our massive metropolis. NYC has 5 of them: the Bronx, Brooklyn, Manhattan, Queens, and Staten Island. That's really important information for this unit, so I might highlight it. I'll highlight this text so that when my students click on this page, they see that this is highlighted. That means it's really important. That means my teacher definitely wants me to remember it, and I'm going to read it a little bit closer. So that's one quick extension that you can add. Now, I know that a lot of students might realize, okay, I'm supposed to explore this page. So let me click on the Explore tab. But other students might find this web page a little overwhelming and might not know what to do next. So I can go to my Insert Learning Features, and I can add a sticky note here for them so that they remember the directions. Directions. 1, click on the Explore tab above. 2, think about which cultural attractions you might want to visit. Now, when my students log on and click on this web page, they will see 2 things. They'll see the directions, what they're supposed to do when they get to this page, and they'll see an important highlighted piece of information that they know that they should focus on and remember. Now, these extensions are here, and they're going to stay on this page. But if I'm a student, I'm going to follow these directions. I'm going to click on the Explore tab. So I go to Explore, Attractions. Again, many students can scroll through and find the information that they're looking for. But we want to make sure that all of our students can scroll through and find the information that they're looking for. So we're going to provide another modification and another piece of support for those learners. So we go back up to our extensions again and put Insert Learning in again. Here, all of the same features, but let me help my friends tackle this attractions page. I'm going to add a sticky note for them. I'll put a sticky note right over here. And I'm going to remind them of those guiding questions that they are supposed to answer independently during their independent work time. Those guiding questions were: 1, what makes NYC a cultural city? 2, what attractions might tourists want to visit? And 3, what attractions might you want to visit? Now, when my students click on this page, they'll see this sticky note. They'll see this reminder. Oh, right, here, I'm supposed to go through these attractions and I'm supposed to figure out which ones might tourists want to go to, which ones might I want to go to. Now, students are reminded of the question. They're reminded of their directions, and they have a lot more support and guidance so that when they go off to do their independent work, they are more prepared. Now, I have my Insert Learning features used in this webpage. So I want to make sure that my students get it. In order to share this with my students, what I'm going to do is assign it. I can quickly assign this lesson in 3 different ways. The first way, and probably one of the easiest ways, is to share it to your Google Classroom. If you use Google Classroom, all you have to do is click on the class you want to share it to, and you share that lesson. That means the students will have access to these web pages with all of the sticky notes, highlights, and different teaching modifications that I used in Insert Learning. When they have that lesson there on their Google Classroom, they'll see that too. Another way that I can assign it is through Microsoft Teams, if that's what you use. And the third way is simply as a link. I can copy the link and send the link out as well. One really important thing to mention is that your students must also have this extension on their web browser in order to view these features. So you might want to make sure that your students have this downloaded first before you assign this lesson. You could even make a quick tutorial for them on how to download Insert Learning so that they're prepared once this assignment comes to them. Okay. Now that the students have this assigned to them, they are more prepared to tackle this independent portion of their social studies assignment. So in this lesson, I spoke about how you can take grade 2, unit 2, day 11, and you can add the Insert Learning extension onto this lesson to make your lesson more accessible to all learners by adding different teaching points, questions, and features that will help your students be more prepared for the independent portion of this lesson. Again, I modeled this extension using Unit 2, Day 11 for Grade 2 Social Studies, but as you can see, you can use this extension on a ton of different lesson plans and in a variety of different subject areas. So I hope this was useful. I hope that you go to insertlearning.com and download this extension. And remember to find it in your puzzle piece extension section of your browser and use it to help you and your students.